one of the things that I said on this one is that I'm not going to let production things be a barrier at all. Like the lowest minimum product to get this out there.
So what are you doing? What are we doing?
Okay, perfect. So what I'm doing is I've wanted to do this for a long time. I feel like people have interesting stories.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on my show today, Candy. The idea is that we have a lot of people that do interesting things. And I think it's really interesting to hear their stories. I'm personally interested in hearing their stories. Okay. And I think other people will find them interesting.
Okay.
And we'd love it, if people are inspired to do their idea, basically. So a lot of the people that I talk with, they end up being business founders or creative community builder type people. So small business, medium business, all that. So, and you fit definitely in that category. So
I fit somewhere.
Candy Fuegan.
Fegan. Just do 2 E's.
Fegan. Okay.
Fegan. Yeah. Drop the U.
Can we do the news thing where you spell your first and last name so we have it correctly? Can you say your first and last name and then spell them?
Oh yeah. Is it on right now?
It's
Are
recording,
we doing this?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So Candy Fuegan, CandyFuegen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on.
Yeah. So, and we'll maybe like cut out bits at the beginning or not. Yeah. We'll just roll film. How's that sound? It's a little funny having microphones and things.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay.
Hopefully we can have more or less the conversation we would have
We're just
otherwise.
sitting down having a chat.
Thank you for some
having
coffee
a coffee
at Greenpoint Mercantile.
Yes.
All right. I think there's a lot of questions I want to ask, but this is just freewheeling conversation.
Okay. We're just
wherever
chatting.
we want to go. Yeah. There's nothing. The agenda is knowing who the heck you are and why the heck you do these things. Tell me a little bit though. You're running several businesses and entities. What are you doing right now?
Yes. So I have owned Salon Incognito for 20 years. That's been like the coolest, funnest gig ever.
Did you start that?
I started Salon Incognito.
All
yep.
Right.
So I worked at another salon for 10 years. Through working there, I became an educator for a hair care brand.
Okay.
So when I was ready to leave the salon that I was working at, I was working full time for this hair care brand. And I was on the road for like 7 days and then off. I was home for 12 days.
Yeah.
Too much gone, too much home.
Yeah.
So it just so happens, it was wintertime. I was buying gift certificates at the salon that I used to work at for my family and friends.
Keep going here. I'm going to make a low production edit. Right
Sure. Yeah.
There we go.
So, is that better? See, we needed to get you in there more.
I think it's perfect. I just needed to get this closer to us. Yeah.
How's that?
Oh, I think we're in good shape.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this is how unplanned my life is. So I'm buying gift certificates for my friends and family at a salon that I don't work at. I drive by 216 East 2nd Street and it's vacant. I was a stay-at-home mother for a lot of days and I'm on the road staying at microtels.
Yeah, not fun.
Yeah, no. So there was a sign for rent. I knew it was a salon because I had worked there too.
Okay.
And I knew all the issues with the building. I knew all the things. So after being on the road, I missed doing hair. I wasn't doing hair. I was just teaching others and sleeping in microtels. So
Yeah, that's terrible.
it's terrible. Like I would have to call the desk and say, is there an iron in here? Yep, you have to bring it back to the desk when you're done.
Oh, that's
so that
great.
means that
Yeah.
everybody
Gross.
was, yeah. So I was like, I can't do this anymore.
And that was like across the country or just,
Across the Midwest. So
Yeah.
I would drive one direction, go another direction, hit these salons, educate,
yeah.
come home. And then, it was so great being with the family, but then I was exhausted. I was planning for my next stint on the road. That did not last long. So I drive by 2nd Street. It says for rent. I've already purchased my presents for my family for a salon. And I said to my husband at the time, I said, I want to open a salon. So that was...
How did that conversation go?
He was like, okay. Very supportive. He was always very supportive. So I was like, this is how it's going to go. But you know how I am, that it's like, you don't know how I am. I'm like, it'll be easy. Like, I know how to do this. That's fine. And he's a CPA. He's an accountant.
Okay.
So like,
you didn't benefit from that experience at all.
Until just very most recently is when I stopped getting benefits from that, but that's okay. So in 30 days, we opened a salon.
Because it already had the equipment in. Like it
it was a Christian bookstore when I got it.
I forgot that's where that was.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But it had been a salon before.
It had been a salon years ago. So I knew it was possible. I knew that there was plumbing.
Yep. Okay.
So we put some walls up. We put some mirrors up. Got some stations from IKEA because 20 years ago, IKEA was so cool. I maybe put $10,000 into it.
Okay.
Period.
Which would be like 1.4 million in today's dollars.
In today's, yes. Yeah. So I made a super good friend. That was back in the day when you didn't have a brand. You weren't a brand. You had a telephone.
Yeah.
You had the credit card thing.
Yep.
Swipe. And your best friend was the salesperson that sold you newspaper ads.
It was newspaper
ads, radio.
No website, no
website. I had a paper book.
Okay.
We had colored pencils for the kind of guests that they were. If they were new request, walk in.
In your appointment book,
that's
how you coded it.
That's how you coded who the customer was. So then I found a software called Unique, and it was one man that sat in his home. I could call him at any time. He set me up, but zero functionality, which was cool.
But was it a booking software?
It was a booking software, but I didn't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, we were just getting into computers.
Right. It was.
I mean, literally,
yeah.
So my very first customer came in, and she had the little cutout. And she was like, I saw this ad in the newspaper. Are you Candy? And I was like, yeah, I am. So that's how it started. I hadn't worked in a salon for some time, and I had a great relationship with that salon owner. I said, this is what I'm going to do, but I'm not contacting anybody, and I'm not looking for staff. So I opened January 3rd. Tons of people are really shopping January 3rd. And I just sat there waiting for the phone to ring so that was like a Monday or something. So I got into Work and Money on the Muscatine Journal. Do you remember on Saturday there was that little area, Work and Money, what's happening in Muscatine? So like who would have been promoted at GPC or a new business or...
And they did a profile of
the tiniest.
Okay.
Yes, this tiniest little profile. So I just sat and waited.
What were you thinking at that? I mean, was it like I'm so excited I can't wait to see what happens, or is it like what have I done, or all of the above?
Too dumb. Had no idea. No idea. My very nearest, dearest, best right-hand person came and joined me, but it's so funny. She had worked with me and at the previous salon and Crystal McFate, and we've been together 20 years. And
she's still with you there, yeah. And
I was like, the phone didn't ring today, but it's going to. I didn't have a client list because in 30 days we did new floor, we did a new awning, we painted, and then here we sat. I was like, okay, it's time to open. So yeah, it was crazy. People came. I didn't reach out to anybody, but people came because they saw their little ad in the newspaper.
Wow. So it was you,
Yep.
and then Crystal was your
McFate.
first.
Uh-huh.
And did she come on as an employee,
She
or was
came
it
in as an
okay.
employee. So
Okay.
we are a commissioned salon. We have stayed that way. I am so proud to say, this is neither here nor there, but in 20 years, I am, I believe, the only single-owned salon. Like I am the only part owner in it
Okay.
that offers health insurance, IRA, paid vacation, paid education, and now we have a wellness plan.
Interesting.
So we were this teeny tiny little thing, and slowly
Yeah.
people came to us, and they wanted to work with us, and we've been through a plethora of employees. But what I have discovered now, being a grown-up, that I feel that hopefully I was a jumping off point for them to be able to be like, oh,
Yeah.
look at what she was able to do. I want to go do it myself and give that a whirl. So
Like inspiring some of those people that have the vision for it to do their own things.
Yeah.
When did you add those kind of benefits? Was it early on or over time?
Well, first, the big thing that we did is we were the first salon in Muscatine to be open on a Monday. I've never understood why salons were closed on Mondays. I have no idea.
We have a lot of the downtown businesses.
Yeah, so like
especially
Regis,
restaurants.
JCPenney's, like those salons were open, but they were like corporate. So no small salons in our downtown were open on Mondays. They do Tuesday through Saturdays.
Okay.
So that was my first big like pioneering thing. Let's be open on Mondays. And our phones just rang like crazy because people would sit, Saturday night, Sunday, and be like, oh, I want to get my hair cut. And they were able to. So that was cool. And then slowly I would say, it was probably 10 years later, that I was like, we have to do the next big thing. And I was so proud to be able to offer benefits. So, as a commission salon owner, so many people think that I just take half of what everybody brings into the salon, and then I just sit in this like castle.
Like it all goes as cash into your pocket, and you just pay for anything you want with piles of cash.
Yeah, I just buy everything with, and we
like
just
business
pay.
owners are just cranking it out.
That's why we do this. So, all transparency, I pay myself only on the haircuts that I provide to my guests. So I am an employee as well. The money that comes in, that 50% commission, whatever percent, it's generally 50, but it goes right back into the business, which provides them the benefits, and it provides us having a receptionist, a salon manager. So for me, commission salon is a team, it's a family, it's a group that is able to have benefits and have a nice lifestyle. And just come to work, do your job, and be able to leave.
I guess that's not something I think a lot of us, maybe a lot of your people would know how that works, but that's the structure that most salons operate with.
Probably not. It's probably an antiquated way of being that used to be the only thing. And then slowly chair rental came into be. That you would leave and you want to pay for your chair, basically. And then you can make your own decisions on what you're going to work, and you're going to pay for your own product, and you're going to own your own business inside of a structure.
Okay.
And that just isn't my business plan. It works for some, and it works great for those people that do that, but that isn't my.
You prefer this?
That isn't my jam.
Kind of,
I like the sense of community. I've had a lot of success in teaching people a better way to live. And I think that if you just rent a chair, then I'm just your landlord. And the sharing and the growing and the things.
What does that look like for people? Describe. I mean, how you've helped them grow as people. Is that what you're?
Well, that's my goal. So I think that, it's so funny that we're talking about hairdressing.
You tell them, like, do your laundry.
Pay
laundry. Your parking ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, do that. I'm like the mom. No, in this business plan, I feel that I can guide them and show support. I'm an educator still for a different hair care company. So education is so important. Mm-hmm. That sense of community. Hairdressers are notoriously not the nicest people amongst themselves. There's a lot of competition because, I own Andrew because Andrew called me once and came and sat in my chair.
You're my client.
You're my client. Yeah. And I just don't tolerate that in the salon. So whenever I hire anyone, I say, this is my sandbox. This is a creative, safe space for you to be able to create. If you mess up my sandbox, you have to go because this is my sandbox. Right?
You're setting the expectation that we're going to collaborate here.
We're going to collaborate and it's safe and I want you to be your person. I'm not trying to make machines that you cut hair the way that Candy cuts hair, but there's systems and there's principles and things like that happen. But also before any of that stuff happens, notoriously, people would assume that hairdressers aren't very smart and there's no money to be made in hairdressing. So the hill that I will die on is to raise the level of what it looks like to be a successful hairdresser. So the people that work with me, I will pull them, kicking and screaming and dragging them to help them see that. Or that's generally when they leave and say, your vision of business is not my vision of how I want to work. Right. And that's okay.
It's okay. Like they could
there's
fit with
a client for every hairstylist. And by no means am I demeaning someone that leaves a commission salon. I'm saying for me, I want it to look different to everybody that has an assumption about what hairdressing is.
Would you call it a level of professionalism?
Absolutely, is that a way? Yes. How you dress, how you speak, how you engage. And how you portray yourself. And it's very important. There's a lot that goes into hairdressing that's more than, I need my bangs trimmed. We are the only industry that we can touch people.
Sure.
That's outside of a doctor, a dentist, a plastic surgeon. And those people are held at such a high level.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, this is just like a cute little hobby to some people. I'll go to hairdressing school to have something to fall back on while I pursue something that's going to make me a living.
Rather than seeing it as a professional, I mean, there is a professional license for it.
Absolutely, we're licensed. Yeah.
Is there, so it's been a while since I've done a lot of hair. I don't go to a salon regularly now. But I do remember very much when I would go, there is something about there is a touch and like humans respond really well to that. I mean, like we joke sometimes that we are in real estate, but what we're really in is marriage counseling. I mean,
for sure.
That's
you touch a heart. Yeah. So
it's like therapy.
It is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that you're exactly right. So then it turns into like, oh, you're like a therapist and a bartender. You know what I mean? So you just say these really weird things to bartenders. You say all of the things to the therapist. And like, I know so many things that generally I don't want to
because
know.
you become you're a trusted advisor.
I'm very trusted, and here's the other thing: that hill that I will die on when people are like, "Oh my God, you must know everything. You work in a salon." First and foremost, I want to know: did you like your color? Do you want to make a change? How did that grow out for you? how are you feeling? Then if there's time, you can tell me about kids' soccer, you can tell me things, because the less you tell me that's like that heart stuff, then we don't get into that whole messy, gossipy, whatever. So, I don't know. Do you know how your dentist votes? Do you know if your dentist has kids that play soccer?
Well, I know what the dentist does, but I can't speak while I'm at the dentist. So
I know.
They don't know me.
Right, exactly. I go to my family doctor, like, I don't know what she's about. And it's because you would never walk in and be like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what my dog did today. That's just not what we're there for. So there is a suit of armor that I put on, an imaginary little suit that I want to support you. But imagine every 30 minutes someone comes in. My dog died. My husband left me. My mom has cancer. I have cancer. My kid broke its leg. You know what I mean? So we hear this super emotional stuff all day long, and it can be very wearing. It can be very taxing. So, like, for that professionalism to be sustainable in this and not lose your mind, there has to be this little separation. Now, on the other hand, you get very close to these people because they do tell you all of these things. But what has been interesting is COVID has changed this profession for sure.
In what ways?
We were closed for 9 weeks during that terrible time.
Yeah.
That people did kind of sit back and be like, that person in that salon really does help with my mental well-being.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like when you feel like you don't look good, you don't feel good. So everyone was able to take like a deep breath and be like, oh my gosh, this person is really important to me. So it's like we both got to understand each other. Like, I need you. I miss you. There was a connection. And they were like, oh, yeah, it isn't just like popping in and, getting this thing done. So it's been very interesting to see how relationships and the professionalism of.
Did hair care get termed an essential service, or was that one that?
No, we were
you had to be
for
closed.
9 weeks.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah. And at the time I was a single mom. I owned the salon building. I had renters. I had employees that were commission. So, and we, through GPC lockout, we were not affected. The economy has never affected us. We have been bulletproof. So this was the first time ever that we were affected. And I just did not know, because I started this industry when I was 17 years old. And I've loved every single day of it. I was like, I don't know what it's going to look like. And I don't know what I'm going to do when we do go back. But there was a lot of respect that came out of it both ways, to my guests and back to us. So
people, you're saying that, both ways. People recognize the role you were playing.
Yeah.
Wow.
They try to do their stuff at home. They're like,
yeah, right. I can pull it off, but most people can't. So.
That didn't go well.
What? Tell me. So the business. I have a couple more questions about the salon. Was it touch and, like, financially? Was it touch and go? Was it hard to, or did it start providing an income for you reliably?
Right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always paid myself. I've always been able to pay myself. There are business owners that you hear that it's like, oh yeah, I get to payroll with the other staff and I don't take a draw. I was able to pay myself always. There was one teeny tiny bit of time. And it's tough for the ego to say. I had a walkout.
Staff.
Yep.
Left.
Staff. Just,
okay.
Yep. And that's really tough to say in this kind of forum, that you tuck away and say, well, I don't know. I just came to work and they were gone. But that was a big hit. And, I had to let that go from my heart and say, no one would open a business to spite the person that owned the business that they worked for. It was their time. It was their time to go. It was my time to rethink about my business plan. And, that bank account got real low, but we pulled through, and because you can't focus on the negative and this happened to me and, whatever. It's just like, all right, let's pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and let's go.
What do you do personally when you are, stuff happens in business.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
When it starts piling up, or like, what do you do to keep yourself in a mindset that you need to?
Yeah, I cry a lot. No.
Does it work? Maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm going to cry when we're done. No, I am a major crier, but the other thing, I have a lot of, I'm a very systematic person, and I have a lot of systems that I keep in place. So I am sober. I'm very proud of that. So before, I would have handled things in a bad way because I would have been drinking. So
is that no alcohol then?
Zero alcohol, zero drugs. I feel
Yeah.
every single thing that happens, which is
Awesome.
wonderful. And that's been quite some time. And then, I do a lot of yoga. Miss Lindsay Broders is like my person. And I really believe in like self-care. Like if I'm not good to me, I'm good to no one. And I fall, but then I lean on, I have a great staff right now that they pick me up when things are bad.
Did you have to learn that?
Yeah. I would love to go back and see the owner that I was when I was having walkouts, when people didn't understand that I only want good for them. And, I'm a 5-foot little chihuahua at times.
Calm and peaceful,
Yeah,
not
calm
stirring
and peaceful.
anything up.
Yeah. So, recently I've just been feeling like I'm so misunderstood. People don't know why I do what I do or how I do what I do, and that can really get heavy in my brain. But I know that it's pure and it's for the greater good, and to just like, I want to feed people's families, and there's I have a nice life and I want to share it with people. So they have to receive it.
Yeah. I need to just do a little more adjustment. Some people do these constantly. They move these around and they pretend they have multiple cameras. So I want to ask you about your other businesses and things too, but a little bit about, if I were to describe what you do, it seems to me, you run small businesses. I would describe you as a community builder, like a creative community builder. How does that?
That's a very nice description, and quite unintentional.
Okay.
I will say, so I have had the pleasure of working with women for 32 years. I hear the same thing from every guest that comes in. We have nowhere to shop. We have nothing to do. There's nothing in Muscatine. Like, the only place I can buy socks and underwear is at Walmart, to get a gift. I can't do. So I have had market research behind me for 32 years. So
interesting.
So, when people are like, gosh, I wish we had a clothing store. And we have a lovely clothing store. Halltree is amazing. Kathy Crossley, you're the best. We have Persnickety Boutique, and then we have Meg's, and we have Red and Lee. That is not to sustain, nearly 30,000 people in this Muscatine, in this town. So I was like, I will open a clothing store if it's directly across from the salon. I need to be able to get back and forth, right?
Okay.
I need to be able to see it. It can't be across town. I don't want a box store.
Yeah.
We need this second street to continue to be what it is.
Right.
So this place came up, Miss Jody Hansen. Shame on
Brought
her.
it to you? Is that what did she tell you what was happening? Okay.
She was like, hey, I have a couple of places to look at. We looked at a couple, and I was like, this is so gorgeous. And the Muscatine, the Muscatine forgivable loan was forgivable grant. I'm going to mess that up, and they've given me so many of them.
And so you got that in order to get the place built out or space?
Yes,
okay.
To do the built out.
Yeah.
And then, Kevin and Ray Ellen Phillips.
And so this is Liv Leo?
Liv Leo Apparel.
Okay.
So I was like, let's open this clothing store. I was in New York, which is where my daughter lives. I met two beautiful women who were so awesome. They were twin sisters. They still are twins. They have a label. Yeah, they are still twins. They have a clothing label called Twin. This is what you need. And I said, I'm going to open a clothing store. I had no intention yet. I was just like, manifesting, we'll call it, instead of BSing. So I was manifesting this, and I said, I love your stuff. I love you too. I met their mom. They're Canadian. They live in New York. They design. One of the sisters is like the lawyer, the whole money side. The other girl is the design side. They're a great team. They own this beautiful shop, and they had never sold wholesale before.
Okay.
So they're like in their early 30s, and they're like, well, we have to ask our dad. And I was like, they were like, we don't know how to do that. And I was like, I don't know how to own a clothing store. So they are gender neutral, sustainable fabrics. They use dead stock, which is fabrics that would come from another designer that would get thrown away into a landfill. And they take that fabric. So they do a run of whatever, a shirt, pants, whatever, a jacket.
Okay.
Keep that fabric from going into a landfill, and then when that fabric's done, it no longer exists.
So it's limited series essentially.
Yep, it's limited series. They're gender neutral. They're size inclusive and sustainable. I mean, hello.
Those are things that personally
totally affect me, because the the salon is all about sustainability. 97% of all of our salon waste gets repurposed through a company called Green Circle. So we have no color gets thrown down drains to go into the river. None of the foils from the highlights. I know you haven't had highlights for a minute.
It's been a little while, but there's a lot of products. It's kind of like dry cleaning has a name for itself of like these chemicals that you shouldn't just.
Yes. So, gosh, I haven't dry cleaned in years because it's so naughty. But anyway, so this whole sustainability, and then finding these women, family owned. Yeah. I know the source. They're finding fabrics. They're building the designs. They're doing the whole thing themselves. I'm like, we are going to partner. And here I am like begging them. And they're begging me to let them learn this wholesale thing. So
that's awesome.
2.5 years ago, you could either get Twin in New York in their storefront or in Muscatine, Iowa.
There was no, did they have an online store?
They have a website, but
their sales
were store-based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they learn wholesaling and distribution through that?
Yes, through their father.
Okay.
So their dad said it's okay. So I flew them here. We had an event, and they are obsessed with this town. They love Muscatine. They love the popcorn store. Oh my gosh, they can't stop talking about Muscatine. So they finally just made it to Codier, which is like if people go to market to buy their wares to sell into their stores. They finally are in a wholesale
Is that it's a like trade?
Space. Yeah, you go to a trade market show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're finally now in, they're doing trade shows, and they invited me in so that they could introduce me to like, you can get things through New York or through Muscatine, Iowa, which is so weird. So all of this has just been like fun and crazy and unexpected. And
do you have any other financial interest in that, or is that just it's their thing and you're one of the you're one
yeah,
of the outlets?
nope. I buy their product.
Where do they make those? So they design them and they source the fabric, but where are they made?
It is made in China.
Okay.
Yes.
So they send things there.
They get all of their pieces. So we'll Zoom, and it's in their kitchen in their beautiful West End home.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you take that property and plop it down in Muscatine? It's just,
when they see Liv Leo, if you have not been in all through Liv Leo, and I'm just like, just guess what I pay for rent.
Yeah.
They have, just like the tiniest space, and they pay $10,000 a month for rent. For
maybe
their
like
clothing store.
800 square feet or 500.
Yeah, it is so tiny. It's not even the size of our front entry.
Yeah.
It's just tiny. Well, you could probably touch both walls.
Maybe even like just a few hundred square
long,
feet.
it's narrow. They have a shower. Like if you had a stand-up shower, that's their fitting room. It's lovely. It's great. But just the cost of it, they're like, forget it. We're moving all of this to, we're gonna move to Muscatine. They love us so much. And we do use other vendors. So I try to be very aware that it's not found on Amazon, that it's, women owned, not necessarily just women owned, but that there is a standard. But yeah, they are our top most important vendor that we partner with.
Are you picking all the things in there, or do you have someone else that?
No, I pick all the things.
Okay.
So I never get to work in the store. Like I don't get to stand behind the cash register. I get to work there Thursday. I'm super excited. I can't wait. I will call the girls and be like, does anyone want to give up hours? And they're like, what's going on? And I was like, I just want to work in my store. They're like, okay, weirdo. So I get to work there Thursday. I'm super excited. So
I'm gonna hire a mystery shopper while you're there.
Oh,
an irate customer.
Please.
That's going to what
I love a toughie.
Really?
My favorite thing that people say when they come in, well, I bet you don't have anything for someone my size. And I was like, we have 00 to 4X. We have men's clothes. We have women's clothes. We have loungewear. We have business wear. If you need a dress for Christmas or a wedding, we have that. We have men's button downs. We have, this is actually a men's cashmere.
That's very nice. That's good.
Sweater.
Yeah.
It has the little double.
It has an elbow
thing
patch.
for the elbow patch. Yeah.
So
gender neutral.
All right. I guess you're right. There aren't places.
We have
in
you can get exercise clothing for men and women. Yeah, 3X leggings, 3X sports bras for women. I mean, we literally have. If you have a body, we have something that we can put on you.
Was Muscatine? This is a question I've asked a number of people. Is Muscatine an advantage, or is it a hindrance for you in the businesses that you do?
This clothing store is a hindrance. So what is so sad but so important for us to understand is we have been trained since Von Maur left Muscatine Mall, which was 1980,
20
whatever.
years ago.
We're so fortunate that we are in the center of Iowa City and Davenport.
Yeah.
There is it's not a hardship to get to either one of those places and do all of your shopping. So it is the other thing for me, and I could be totally wrong, so any viewers that see this, there is not a excitement to buy a shirt that is $98 downtown Muscatine. So if you went to a clothing store in Iowa City and you were like, oh my gosh, I was in the Piedmont and I bought this, and oh my gosh, can you believe this was $200? You're like, posh.
Okay.
Right? So having a $98 I know the source of where the fabric comes from. A $98 cashmere, whatever. I can tell you what the region where the sheep came from. There isn't bragging rights to that. There just isn't. Now, if you get we have a sweatsuit, the bottoms are $28 and the top is $32, gender neutral, super easy. It's beautiful, it's great, it's awesome. I could have just opened a store that sold just that.
There's demand for, or people, there's a lot, people value that, and it seems like a price
and
point.
It's super easy. It's an easy price point. Anybody can wear it.
But the more premium side is harder to do.
Yeah, it's like tough to brag that you got this like super posh thing. Just, it was downtown Muscatine. So the perception we need to change that there is value in shopping down here. You know, getting super cool Jag jeans at the Hall Tree. Jag is a brand that people know, and maybe they're $78, maybe they're $88. I don't know. I think that's a nice price point, but you're selling jeans for $120. People are like, it's just not for me. But they would spend the money on fuel, take in a movie, eat somewhere delicious, and pick up those pants, and it would be like no thought behind it. You know what I mean?
So that's part of why I would call you a community builder, because it wasn't so much that you just did market research and said, okay, I need to hit this budget price point, here's what'll sell. It seems to me like you basically built the store you wanted to have. Kind of.
Yeah.
And you're doing it to push things forward or elevate something. I mean, you're doing community building, not just saying, what do people want? Is that sort of?
So we have tank tops that sell for $14.50.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And then we have something that you could purchase. We have a winter coat for $2.98. Like, I really feel like I hit every single price point.
Okay.
I think that every single human being in this town could leave with something from there.
Yeah.
Yes, I curate everything. I curate everything in that salon. I curate everything here. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a little heavy on the true crime books. I'm going to have to work on that. Fantasy's coming.
I feel like, so as getting into this place, what's creative people, we have ideas blasting around in our mind all the time. So how do ideas come to you, and how do you, which ones do you do?
Okay, it is so funny. If you go to any one of those stores, you would never think that Candy Fuegan designed any one of them. The Salon, pure white.
Okay.
Clean, nothing. Liv Leo Apparel has like this tie-dye, it has a Southwest.
What does the name mean?
Liv is my daughter, Olivia, and then Leo is Jackson Leo. That's his middle name. So, yes.
So you,
and then, so if you Googled Liv Leo something, it's baby moccasins. So there was something. I had to add something. So Liv Leo Apparel is my children.
Okay.
And the cactus, the whole thought of being Southwest, is my dear sweet auntie who passed. That was our place. So anyway, so it has like, the fitting room looks like an Adobe kind of like cool whatever. So it has that.
Okay.
What is that called?
It's like a Mesa view or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adobe. That kind of thing. So then the Pilates studio was supposed to look like the sand in the desert with a sunset.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
And these are your ideas.
Yeah, these are, it just comes to me. Yeah, it swirls around my brain. And then so when people come in here and they're like, well, who did this? And I was like, well, I did. But this is like Maximus. You know how everything is minimalistic? That was my bag. I want this. We're only just beginning to fill this.
You're going to do, it's going to be rich.
It's going to be rich.
Like,
so whatever the opposite of minimalism is what I want this to be.
Oh, that's good. So this is the current iteration, but maximalism of.
Maximalism,
like
thank
curio
you.
cabinets and
just the weird. So all of the furniture here is from estate sales in Muscatine. So every piece has a story.
Okay.
I love stories when you can attach a story to something.
And here, just tell me a little, I interrupted you, but what is this place?
What is this place?
Yeah.
I'm not, no, I'm kidding. So this is Greenpoint Mercantile. So that name gets a lot of flack because people are like, how am I supposed to know that it's a bookstore? But it is so much more than that.
Okay.
So it's a community space. It's a space that you could grab a cup of coffee. I don't have a barista. You just self-serve, get yourself a cup of coffee.
Okay.
It's coffee.
Yeah.
We have a little refrigeration system. You can grab a soda. You can grab a little like noodle cup, add water, take it to go. You don't want to wait for lunch. You don't have time. So it's a quick place to grab a bite. These pretzels are selling like crazy.
I don't not have one yet. Yeah.
Pop Daddy, they trend on TikTok, which I had no idea until I bought them. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is trending on TikTok. Sometimes I hit on something and I was like, I have no idea why. But anyway, so yes, we have books. We've partnered with Flipped Out Furniture. They're on 2nd Street. I love their vibe. So anything that you see that has a tag on it, you can buy Flipped Out Furniture stuff right here.
You were saying, and so there's estate sale things, or then they have put things in here that are.
So like, you can tell. My old pieces that have great stories.
You've got a good collection here. The crushed velvet stuff
and
is.
you know, it was people were like, do you need this couch? Do you need this chair? And I was like, it's weird. Yeah, let's take it. And then I put it together and I was like, it tells the coolest story.
Yeah.
I don't know what the story is yet, but it's cool. I just think this is the coolest place.
What was so you bought this building and it was the hair salon. I didn't realize that under the stations, the floor was all complete there. I thought there was going to be some openings
no,
and things.
Everything's great. The only thing that we replaced was this flooring. There was carpet. Okay. We painted. We changed out the light fixtures. So when you say, what do you call me?
I would call you something along the lines of a creative community builder.
Okay, so
does that seem to fit a little bit?
Yeah, so here's what happened. This building came for sale. I wanted to live here.
Yeah.
For free. And I wanted someone to be down here to pay my mortgage. And everyone's like, sometimes people just go ahead and pay their mortgage. And I was like, yeah, but if I can have somebody else do it, why would I do that? So my whole thought, my goal was that this would be a small business incubator. I wanted people to flock to me and say, I want a 10 by 10 space. And I want to have a place outside of my house. I'm not ready to have a storefront, but I want to build this thing. And I want you to help me. No one wanted to do that.
No takers. Yeah.
I think that, again, I'm misunderstood sometimes. So I didn't want my fingers in people's businesses. I wanted mothers that were trying to be that awesome mom that have stock in a spare room and there's just chaos and separating the business from the mom to then who are you? And you want to have this safe space to create that is easier than jumping in and taking a storefront. So, you work on your business plan.
Yeah. But there wasn't, I mean, you did put that out there to people, and you really didn't have, early enough, there wasn't a lot of
early enough, it wasn't going to be a thing. I mean, I had this whole build out thought. People wondered why I wanted to have my fingers in their business. So it was just a very misunderstood
and
concept.
I think, and that's a hard thing to pull off. I think a really big population base can maybe do things like that, but that's hard.
So then it was, I kind of like peeked at the farmer's market and was like, how do we have an indoor year-long farmer's market? And that came with a different set of challenges that it felt too hard for me. Like, I don't want to man this. I don't want to own a farmer's market. I wanted people to have interests to do the thing. And it just didn't work out. And then, knowing that I was living upstairs, we had some people to look at that wanted to look at the space, and they would have, whatever. Then it was like, how comfortable am I having these different things underneath my safe space?
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it, let's open a bookstore.
That was not the original store or idea. And then
Never.
Okay, interesting. So
never. Yeah. So I love to read. And there is the community of readers are weird in the most positive way.
They've responded well, you mean?
So well. Yeah. People walk in, and to see the shock and awe of when they like walk into the space is so cool. When we first opened, I would get teary because I was like, that wasn't my intent either. Like, come in and buy a Daniel Steele book. I don't care, like, whatever. Yeah. But the reactions have been insane. So kind. Here's the other thing that I think is funny about readers. They walk in here and they're like, this is cool. I have a ton of books. Can I give them to you? And I was like, I mean, yeah, we'll take donations. So then we have a vendor program. Okay. So I was like, I'll make you a vendor profile. When your book sells, you will get proceeds to shop back into the store.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a commission or
not a consignment.
Not a consignment. Okay.
They're just a vendor. Yeah. For every $10 that gets sold that belongs to you, you get $1, and then you can accrue dollars, and then you can shop back in the store. And people are like, yeah, that's cool. I don't want that.
It wasn't motivating for them.
But I do it, and then I send them an email at the end of the month, and I'm like, you have, $10, $17 to come back in and shop. That will get you 3 used books. That will get you a new hard copy of a book, and you were just going to throw it away, or you were going to donate it to different places.
So they are using it then. That's great.
So they are using it, but it's just so wild. Like, you've gone to the mall, you've seen a shirt, you've never walked in there and been like, oh my God, I really like these shirts. I have some shirts. Can I give you my shirts? It's wild that people walk in here and they just want to give back to this space. That is the coolest thing.
What else would you like to, like, if I don't know, if I have something in my house that what should I bring you?
So yes, the thing that I don't,
You want my collection of, I don't actually have this, but National Geographics from the whole collection.
The whole thing.
All the New Yorker magazines that no one ever reads.
Oh my gosh. So I have had people say, you don't sell magazines. And I was like, magazines are tough now because have you bought a magazine in the last, they're like $12.95 now. Okay. They're crazy. Remember you used to get them for $4.99? I mean,
you mean like to buy a subscription?
Yeah, if you went to Walmart right now and bought Home Beautiful, whatever, they're like $12.95. They're so crazy expensive, where they would have been $5 before. Yeah. So people do ask if I'm going to buy magazines. I'm not buying new magazines. Yeah. It doesn't go fast enough. Here's what I want people to do. Bring your books, donate them. We will get to them as quickly as we can. What people are not using the spaces I want them to use it to, sit down, chill out, Bring your friends. I want loitering. And people seem to just like walk around and they're like, oh, cool, thanks. So they pick up 2 books and they run out the door. And I'm like, it feels so good here. Sit down. Look at this couch. It's been covered in plastic.
That was covered in plastic?
This is, look,
there's not a spot on it.
This is from like 1960.
Oh, yeah. That's the real deal.
It has not one crumb in it. I feel bad that I sit on it. I should be holding my coffee out like this.
So it was in somebody's house with plastic on it for, So you want the people to come eat. You're open to the sitting down.
Yeah, so we have a table back here by our little kitchen store area, our mercantile. And then we have a little wall that is separated, and there is a great 1920s table back there.
Yeah.
That you can sit. We have both book clubs, Bible studies. We're going to have a baby shower here on Sunday, March something. So people are renting the space, which is cool.
Excellent.
But while we're open, I want you to feel like you can just like sit, take your time, peruse.
My girlfriend came and sat at the table for a couple hours, and she quickly found this as a favorite spot. So
good. Yeah. There's also a back space that has a shelf, and we have bar stool seating, so you can look out the window. But it's like our Wi-Fi room, so there's plug-ins at each seat, so you can keep your laptop charged and. Just that we've had some high school kids come in and they bring their backpack, and I think it's like boys and girls that are like chatting and looking like they're doing their homework, but I love it. I want it to feel like a community space that you feel safe to sit here and like whatever your, I had a young kid, he wrote a song while he was here. He kind of like was strumming lightly to a guitar, very lightly, so it wasn't obtrusive. But
you had a dog come in with jingle bells
and
walk
with jingle bells.
So that is very much what I would call that creative community building. You're creating a space where people can connect or just be, and that's
it's just so fun.
Do you feel like you need? Were you going to say something else?
No.
Do you feel like, as a creative person, you need you need outlets and kind of like a playground space? Does this fit that a little bit?
It totally fits this. So for me, very selfishly, I love when I wake up at 4:30 on Sunday morning, I come and sit down, I make a cup of coffee. That is my favorite chair.
Yeah.
So I sit, there's just like the perfect spotlight, so I can just have that on, and I sit and I read and I'm quiet and I Instagram. And
this is a pretty envious spot to have for that kind of.
It is so great. So
I've got some other questions about. So these are kind of community questions.
Yeah.
If you could wave a magic wand or push the magic button and just like have something appear in the community here. So think about like manifesting Muscatine.
Gosh.
What isn't here that you would just love to see?
That's so funny. So I don't know. That's a great question. It may come to me while we talk, or I'll have to get back to you. So we do Small Business Saturday. And when I celebrate Small Business Saturday, I take baskets to viable businesses that are already in our downtown. Mm-hmm. And when I started doing this several years ago, there was maybe 10 or 17 or 23. Okay. We gave 40 baskets downtown to real life, open every day businesses that are doing it right.
Yeah.
And I hope that does not come across condescending.
Do you know what I mean? By like they're sustainable. Like these are
these probably are good, sustainable businesses. And I can't remember how many restaurants that we have down here, but it is so much more than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
So the salon is open 6 days a week. We're
Okay.
open from 9 a.m. till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So we have a real good finger on the pulse of what is going on. We've got a lot of really great things happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We have great restaurants.
Could someone come to you and ask, like, if they're interested in starting something and maybe locating downtown? I'm sure you would probably tell them, like, what your experience has been. Like you said, you're open that much and you're open those hours, so you have your finger on what
Yes.
works here, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I were to manifest something, it would be a collaboration of a group of people that are like-minded, that continue to build this, because we have the things that we need. We need more cohesion on working together in our downtown. I think we
Interesting.
have a beautiful, great downtown. Yeah, sure. We could have, for me, I'm a vegan. Just was in Kansas City this weekend. The amount of food I could eat that wasn't like problematic, you know, and have the waitress be like, what? So, you know, for me, you know, I'm about sustainability. I'm about clean eating. I'm about those kind of things. Boonies takes such great care of me. Salvatore's takes great care of me. You know, Skinny's even, it has food that I can eat there.
amazing.
It's so great. Oh my gosh.
So vegan doesn't extend into smoke smell, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love
aroma.
the smell. But they do buffalo cauliflower tacos for me.
Okay.
So I mean, it's super. It's great.
Well, if you think of things that you would love to, I mean, I think a lot of us have ideas that we're like, man, somebody should really do this. It's not me, but somebody, I'd love to see this.
And let me tell you, I am tapped out. I am tapping out. I have done it. I love it.
Because it's right now. How many entities are you running?
Okay, so I work at the clothing store.
Yep.
In curating the clothing. I teach 16 hours of Pilates every week. So we didn't even get to talk to them.
No, we didn't even get there.
Studio. That just moved to, I don't know what the address is.
It's right next door to Liv Leo, right?
So 215 East 2nd Street. What do? I cut hair and I curate books.
For full-time jobs,
For full-time jobs.
Yeah, that's good.
But I have such a great community. I couldn't do this without Mandy Smiley. She takes great care of me. But the staff, you know.
Is she a salon staff member?
So she's Mandis. So my full name is Candace. She's really nice. Her name is Mandy. So when she needs to maybe be more like me, then she's Mandis. And so she comes here. She's my IT person. She's my, let me see if I can help you source this. Let me see if I can whatever. She's everything.
Okay.
The staff that works at any one of these places, they all work at all the places. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sort of
they are all interchangeable.
Wow.
They love the concept. They love what we're doing, and they love being a part of it. And I asked Mandy, I'm like, why do you put up with me? Because I'm not always awesome. And she is just so proud to be part of a team that is doing what it is that we're doing.
Who do you run ideas? When you have a crazy, or like these things come up, who do you go to and say, here's what I'm thinking?
I need a chaperone.
Yeah. Your staff has told me that. Yeah.
I know. Like, I need a chaperone. I started dating and I was like, okay, really, here's the thing. You're not my boyfriend. You're a chaperone. But he's just as bad.
Idea-wise, just.
He doesn't stop me. He lets me run with it. And so having such positive support is wonderful. But Candace Lynn Fuegan hereby swears that she is done. And I'm so proud of the team that is so gracious and kind to me, that supports all of my chaos.
Awesome. I have one more question for you, which I kind of asked earlier, but like, is there an ask that you want to put out to people? You know, is there something you're trying to do or trying to figure out or something you're looking for?
I ask, and this is where I could get really emotional. I love this town so much. I love it. I ask that you put Muscatine first. Choose Muscatine. I mean, when I work in that salon, people are like, I only come downtown to get my hair done. And then they say there's nothing to do. We have beautiful cultural things that are happening. We have this awesome book signing that's going to happen March 7th at the Merrill. That is just a plug that you didn't ask me to do. But we have a great symphony. We have an orchestra. We have ballet that comes to. We have so much here. The Merrill is amazing, and the things that they're doing. We have beautiful things to do in this town. When I moved downtown, I didn't have a refrigerator. I didn't have anything. And I walked up and down the street every day, and I was able to feed myself, buy the things that I needed, never got into my car. And I sustained that from August till October.
I think, downtown living here and West Hill, like surrounding, it's pretty underrated right now.
It is so underrated. It is so cool.
Well,
I think we just need to choose Muscatine first.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for telling me about what you've been up to. And
thank you for letting me ramble on and on. You're like, that was supposed to be 15 minutes.
I think we can roll film as long as,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is, it's like food for creative people, just hearing ideas and things. Who, is there someone, that story that you want to hear, or like, who do you want to hear from?
Oh my gosh. Who don't I want to hear from? I think that Alicia Gao has done the coolest thing in downtown with her store. Feather Your Nest is just incredible. Oh gosh, you really put me on the spot with that one.
Is there someone that, that you, like maybe someone that you don't really know their story, or don't really know
their story?
Who, if you heard they were talking about their story, you'd be like, oh, got to hear that one.
I think that, oh gosh, I don't know. I think Jennifer Williams probably has a really cool story. She still holds, so she has Red and Lee.
Okay.
And she still holds space in New York.
Okay.
And she curates her clothing store, and I think she has a cool thing, and like the story of her family, and she has all of these really great things.
Well, I completely put you on the spot by that. So we might.
Do you know what? I want to know about the people that owned or that just opened the Puerto Rican restaurant. I want to know their story.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about them?
I only know that I like the food when I go there.
Okay.
But I don't know any more about them.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so here was my experience, and here's the thing, that Muscatine is very tough.
Yeah.
You pretty much get one shot. If they walk into a place and they don't like the field, they generally don't give you a second chance.
That's especially when it comes to restaurants or things like that. Yeah.
So here's something so cool that happened to them in my experience. And I don't know how to say the name of the restaurant, and I don't know who they are.
Okay.
Jabaro.
Yeah. Jabaros, I think.
Jabaros. Okay. We're going to say that. And if we're wrong, then someone correct us.
Then.
But what they did, they were hit with huge success, massively, when they first opened.
Okay.
They realized either their menu was too extensive, or the food that they were making was too burdensome.
Okay.
They put a sign on their door and they said, "Thank you so much for what the support that you gave us, but we need to rethink this so that we can give you quality in a timely manner. And they closed down and they reworked their business plan.
Okay.
And I've never had the opportunity to speak to them.
Yeah.
To be like, that was cool. Because I know what it feels like when you're like, I just need to open because I need dollars in here and we'll fix it as we go.
But they decided
they took a very strong.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's another thing when people are like, we're so excited this came to be, and then you go and it's closed. That can really turn people off.
Challenge. Yeah. Yeah.
And they did it, and that's cool.
Awesome. Maybe we'll talk with them, see what.
Yeah.
Sweet. I have no idea how to wrap these things up at the end. Yeah. I'd like to get some more coffee though.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. The things that I'm doing, I can't see it. Like it doesn't feel like a thing. And I would have never have known my 20-year-old self, 30-year-old self, 40-year-old self would be sitting here doing this.
Isn't that wild? They'd only really make sense in hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's a book that I should see if we should get you some copies of. He wrote 2 books. One is For the Love of Cities, and the other one is called Love Where You Live. And I think, so it was a pretty meaningful book for me because it made sense. It helped me make sense of what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was, interested in business.
Here.
I'm from here, and I haven't always lived here.
Right.
Went to New York City, Iowa City, and Istanbul, Turkey, and lived all these places.
So when I seen things.
And when I always say this, but like we like the city. I like Muscatine both for what it does offer and then also what it could be, like the potential for things.
Yeah.
So that book, I think you would find it interesting because it kind of gives language to the things that people like us do, where we like business and entrepreneurship, but that doesn't explain the whole picture. It's more there's something else that motivates us. So we'll have to
maybe I should interview you next.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right, deal. Thanks for talking today, and thanks for letting us do this here, and talking with Jim a while ago here. That worked really great. Can we keep doing this in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We'll do Mondays.
I don't know that I had you. Is it okay if I share this, what we talked about today, in the world, and put it on? Yeah. Put it on the YouTube.